All right, buddy, check it out. So I was thinking about this because Gladiator was on the other day. And if you know me, man, top 3 movie,
Yeah.
Gladiator. I
Oh,
love that movie. There's fewer movies, and this might be very like primitive and just kind of like bro-ish or whatever it is, but like fewer movies get me really like
riled up.
amped up
Yeah.
and really like it's a revenge story,
Oh,
and you're just like, oh my God, I need to avenge my family. It's like it really gets you going.
because you know what you're doing? You're kind of saying, oh, I would do the same thing if I was in that position. Even though you know you're full of shit and you would have died on the way over when they were trying, when they put the maggots in his shoulder or whatever, you would have been done.
Yeah, you wouldn't make it.
You wouldn't make it because this guy was tough as fucking nails. But you're thinking, you're like, yeah, you know what? I'm gonna go get that little bitch who killed his dad and who's gonna make me
bitch Caesar.
Yeah. Or whatever.
That emperor. Fuck that
what
guy.
was his name again? The Joaquin Phoenix or whatever. But you're like, you know what, that guy, I'm gonna fuck his ass up when I see him. But you're like, you wouldn't even make it to your front porch.
No. I would definitely be the general of the Roman army.
But yeah. So you're watching it.
So I'm watching it and just got me to think, fuck, man, if we could be reborn, right? So you died tomorrow, knock on wood. You know what I mean? You died tomorrow. And instead of going to the afterlife or whatever it is, someone just came up to me and said, listen, left hand, right hand. Left hand, you get to be reborn in the past of your choice. The other hand, reborn in the future of your choice. So future could be 10,000 years from now. It could be 1 year from now. It could be whatever it is. But you have to pick one.
You're getting Morpheus.
Oh yeah, it's red pill, blue pill, except they're time zones,
right,
as opposed to
like this wokeness,
truth.
Or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a tough one. Now, okay, so here let's kind of get into the nitty gritty because there are always variables in these things, right?
Yes, sir.
Would we know of anything further than Earth? So is it being like kind of going back to what we discussed several episodes ago?
Yeah.
Would be like, yo, you could now live on some next if you go 5,000 years in the future, you might be living on some next colony in Alpha Gamma NXZ, or you could go back to the 40s and assassinate Hitler or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, it's like what are we kind of dealing with, like sort of existentially, right?
So the way I see it is, pick how many years back or forward, and whatever that reality is or will be is what you got. So you can say, hey, in 5,000 years, there might be no Earth in 5,000 years. There might be another colony. I don't know. But I think the question is more so, and I speak to a lot of my friends and like they say things like, man, I'm an old soul.
Yeah.
I totally should have been, I could like, this is my timeline, you know what I mean? The 20s and 30s, you know what I mean? Where men had class and blah, 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 stuff like that. And they're like, that's my time zone. So more like that. And I guess the future would be like, where, there's hovercrafts and friggin' whatever, and which could happen in 20 years. You know what I mean? I don't know.
I mean, they've been telling us that shit for a while now. And it's like, I don't see jack shit. Cause you're kind of like,
show me the hovercraft.
Yeah. I want
the hovercraft.
I want proof. No, it's a tricky situation because you kind of want to know. Like, here's the thing, is that I think if you go back in time, even though like we know what we know now, we have these crazy technologies that are developing every day. The world, and maybe due to history and stuff, but like the world, you could still sort of maybe understand or connect with, and you could kind of be like, oh, like during the fucking Middle Ages or something, you'd be like, oh man, this is fucking brutal and people don't have food and blah, blah, blah. But you could kind of understand like how people are doing this, that, and the other, and how their sort of society operates, because we know this sort of stuff through history and just sort of general human nature. But I think if you went, and not even far, like I think if you went 200 years in the future,
oh wow,
I mean, on the grand scheme of the timeline of the Earth, that's nothing.
That's a lot.
That's nothing, right?
Yeah.
But it's like, if you want to Joe Rogan it, that's nothing, But like, I don't even think the world would be recognizable to you. Like, you would pop out of the cryogenic freezing chamber, and you take your long whiz, and you
evacuation come,
and you would look outside, and you straight up be like, "What the fuck is this?"
Yeah, maybe. Or like maybe there was like a nuclear war or something that happened and it's just like everything's just so fucked up. I think for me, and I thought about this 3 minutes ago, was the worst situation I think for me would be is if you went back in time, let's say, I don't know, 50s, 40s, 30s, whatever it is, knowing what you know now.
Yeah.
That would be the worst, because imagine being like, oh, this is great. Things are, a little bit simpler. They're slowed down, right?
Mhm.
Because of the chaos that we're used to now. But imagine just like communication.
Yeah.
You're like, hey, we need to tell that guy that, we need to do this, and that. Sure. All right, sir. Well, take this feather.
Yeah. And he's like, here's a carrier.
And then dip it in the ink and then write it on this piece of parchment. And then I'll have someone deliver it in 3 weeks.
No, he's like, here's a carrier pigeon and send it off.
Or like,
and it gets sniped down and you don't even know if your fucking message made it.
Yeah. And like, that would frustrate me, being like, what the fuck? Should I just run over there and just tell him personally? Like,
yeah.
Knowing what we know now and having access to all of the like tools and information, like it would frustrate me like crazy going backwards in that regard.
Yeah, for sure. Cause you'd just be like, yo, I just want to text my buddy. And they're like,
yo, sup?
Yeah. And they're like, what the hell is a text? And you're like, oh yeah. And then, cause every single fucking time and you see this in movies and TV shows all the time, anytime the guy's like, yo, I'm from the future, they're like, I don't think so. And then he's a leper. Like, they're like, we got to get this guy somehow. He's crazy.
Yeah. It's a witch.
Yeah. And it's just like, yo,
the sorcerer. Yeah.
They're just like, yo, this guy's fucking lunatic. So if you came back and you're talking about all this shit and being like, oh, I just want to WhatsApp my friend, they would just, they burn you at the stake.
Yeah.
Fry him.
Yeah. Just fry him. Be jokes. You know how, like, let's say you're seeing someone new and, you have the texts back and forth, pretty frequently. Hey, what's up? What are you doing? Are you sleeping now? What are you watching? Blah, blah. All that stuff. If it was between two homing pigeons, imagine how exhausted the two pigeons would be. Like, you're just sending little notes. Haha, that's cute. Sent, and then come back.
Or like you get sent back in time through like some machine or whatever it is, the lithium crystals or some fucking shit. And then like you're texting your homie, you're like, yo, you want to watch a game tonight? Yeah, I'll be over there at 6:30, blah, blah, blah. Then you go MIA because you go back in time. Then all of a sudden, homie's like, what the, opens it up. It's not you. It's some courier from like DHL or something. He hands him this box, opens it up. It's like this vintage old thing. And it's like, yo, dude, if you're reading this, I'm dead. And I just wanted to let you know I got lost back in time in the 1600s, and I had to write this fucking parchment to let you know I won't make the game tonight.
I'm going to be late.
So because you'd just be all fucked up. Because, I mean, I guess the question as well would be, can you come back? Like, is this a two-way street? Or you're saying, or you punched your ticket and you're going to this, and this is your life now?
You know what would be sick? Now this got me thinking again. Forget vacations. You know how people travel and all this stuff? Imagine you could just vacation to other time zones. You pay $7,000. You plug in and you're like, I'm going to go and try to kill Hitler.
Yeah.
Or like, I'm going to be the superhero in different time zones and in the future. That is a vacation, I think, that people would be willing to pay for, because it's more than just relaxing. You're like, it's rewarding, and you get to see the times and stuff like that. That'd be swaggy.
That would be swaggy as fuck. But
what'd you say this weekend? It's just like, you don't even want to know, man. These bootleggers tried to fucking take my liquor. Yeah. There was no way.
No, exactly. I mean, fuck. I'll just imagine like the cost of that too. You know what I mean? I bet Elon Musk is on it. I bet he's like, we got to figure out a way that people can have vacations to whatever time in history they want.
He spoke to Tesla.
He was speaking to this Knight Rider. His car was talking back to him.
Yeah, he was talking right to him.
Yeah,
right to his face. So I don't know. I think, the future is interesting. I think people want to go back to the past and experience experience that life.
I think it's because more often than not like your point is absolutely 1000% correct, being like, oh, I'm an old soul and this and that and the other. But the past is what people know. The fear of the future is what makes people be like, I don't know about that, right? Like I'm uncertain if I would want to get my feet wet in that, because like I don't know what I'm jumping into. We have a sort of understanding that we're going to have certain things, this and that, renewable energy or various, design changes and technologies and cars and a certain thing, especially more the immediate future. But like that's why people are nostalgic, right? Like that's why people our age love 80s and 90s movies, because they're like, that's what I grew up on. I know that and blah, blah, blah. And if you're a history buff, you're going to say, oh, I like this and that from other time zones. But it's like to say you're now going to take this pill and then you're going to go in 200 years into the future. Good luck. I think that just fucking terrifies people,
The future is definitely scary.
Yeah. And ironically enough, scarier than the past, even though we know what the fuck has happened over the civilizations, right?
Dude, everyone's afraid of the unknown, man.
That's it.
And the unknown is 6 months from now. Honestly.
Yeah. Even tonight. I don't know what I'm doing tonight.
I don't know what's going to happen later.